Miracle on the Pacific, a Canadian baseball story. Episode 4, The Postseason.
Julio Rodriguez at the plate. Bottom of the ninth, Game 7. Bases loaded, Orcas clinging to a one-run lead. Tanner Sheffield, the rookie staring down the face of the Mariners franchise. Sheffield into the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. He got him. Sheffield freezes Rodriguez.
You couldn't write it better, Jack. A rookie strikes out Julio to send Vancouver. You heard me, Vancouver, to the Fall Classic.
That was the sound of a city's wildest dream, balanced on the edge of a single pitch. But to understand what came next, we have to go back to the final days of September. The clinch, the heartbreaks, the breakthroughs, and the moments that would define an entire city's relationship with the game. From the PNE Fairgrounds in East Vancouver, this is Miracle on the Pacific. It was the end of September, and the Vancouver Orcas had earned the league's final wildcard berth. Their reward was a 3-game series in Minneapolis with the Minnesota Twins. Game 1, Target Field. On the mound, Cameron Mercer, the oldest man on the Orcas roster with one of the hottest arms in the game.
2-2 pitch from Mercer. Swing and a miss. He gets Correa with the cutter. 7 strikeouts for the veteran.
He's pitching like he's 25 again. You can't fake that kind of poise. Remarkable game from Mercer.
In the 7th, Akito Yamamura punched a line drive past third. 2 runs scored, and the dugout came alive. Sarah Watkins.
That moment was huge. When that ball skipped down the line, you could feel every story on that bench connect. You could see it in the dugout. Higgins and Morrison are yelling things that shouldn't be aired on TV. And Justin George just leans back with that look of disbelief.
After that, Mercer handed the ball to the bullpen and they slammed the door. For most of Vancouver, it was still hard to believe that a team born 18 months ago had just won a postseason game. For Orcas GM Ryan Adler, the young general manager who'd built the roster out of spare parts and hope, was watching that bet cash in.
Game 1 told me our model worked. We built a clubhouse of guys who needed a second chance. In that dugout, you could see, especially in Yamamura and Mercer, they weren't playing scared anymore.
Game 2, the rookie's turn. Tanner Sheffield, 19 starts into his career, now asked to win a playoff series.
Sheffield into the windup. Dotted at the knees. Strike 3 called. 10 strikeouts for the kid.
Talk about poise. That's not a rookie on that mound. Tanner Sheffield with a miraculous effort here in Game 2.
By the 8th inning, the Twins had clawed back to tie the game 3-3. Then came Tristan Wells.
Swung on, drilled to right. That ball's got carry. Gone! And Tristan Wells gives Vancouver the lead.
Canada's kid is at it again.
2 games, 2 wins. The newborn franchise had swept its first postseason series in history. Tristan Wells.
I didn't sleep much after that game. I just kept replaying the homer in my head. We got on the plane to Houston at 2 a.m. Nobody shuts up for 4 hours. It was exciting, and at the same time, it was humbling. It was a lot of pressure, and we still had a lot of work to do.
On paper, the AL Division Series was a mismatch. On one side, experience, rings, October scars. On the other, rookies, reclamation projects, and a fan base still pinching itself. Sarah Watkins.
If you'd drawn up the worst possible opponent for Vancouver, it was Houston. They were loaded. Everybody thought the Orcas were going to get steamrolled. A cute story, then a gentleman's sweep.
Vancouver versus Houston, right? Come on now. That's boys against men. The Astros have depth, pitching, okay? Pedigree, the whole package. The Orcas have what exactly? A cute story? Fine, I'll give them a bit of credit. They've been making the doubters look silly since opening day. They've hung around longer than anyone expected, but it's been a nice run, okay? Don't forget to high-five Jordan Alvarez on the way out. It's going to be Astros in 3.
The reward for Vancouver's miracle birth? A ticket to Houston. The Astros, champions, villains to some, but never underdogs. Game 1 was brutal. Houston pounded out 12 hits. Alvarez parked one into the upper deck, and the Orcas never found a rhythm. Game 2 wasn't kinder. Houston's bullpen dominated. Vancouver's hitters looked young, overmatched. Down 0-2, flying back to Pacifica Field, the Orcas were gasping. One more loss, and the fairy tale was finished. In Vancouver, the city refused to let go. The air was electric, every street buzzing with energy. Game 3 was the first Major League playoff game Van City had ever seen. Cameron Mercer stood tall on the mound, refusing to let the dream die. The Orcas clawed, scratched, and fought back. Yamamura ripped a 2-run dagger in the late innings. The bullpen slammed the door, and suddenly there was life. Then came Game 4. The rookie, Tanner Sheffield. Barely old enough to rent a car, he carved through Houston's lineup like a pumpkin. Twice he stared down Jordan Alvarez, and twice he struck him out. 2 games in Vancouver, 2 thunderous wins. The impossible tide began to turn. And now everything rested on one night in Houston. Game 5. One game to decide who moved on and who went home.
Winner moves on, loser goes home. Top of the 9th, tie game, 2 outs. Man on third. At the plate, 19-year-old Liam Brooks.
Jack, this is unreal. A teenager staring down Houston in the 9th inning of a do-or-die game.
First pitch. Fastball outside, ball 1. Swung on. Drilled down the right field line. Fair ball. It's in the corner. Higgins comes in to score. Orcas take the lead.
Mercer closed it out in the bottom half. The Orcas had done it. The Astros were defeated. Back home, the city erupted all over again. The Orcas weren't a fluke anymore. They were serious.
Well, I mean, we respect the Astros. They're a hell of a ball club. But we came here to win, and our guys won. End of story.
The miracle was truly alive. The Vancouver Orcas had won the American League Division Series, and things were only just heating up. For the players, the win felt like a breath of fresh air. For Justin George, it felt like another weight added.
People told me. By October, I wasn't going to be tired in the way I first thought. It is major decision fatigue. It is waking up every morning already knowing there's going to be a problem waiting for you. Someone's arm feels off, or someone's confidence is gone. You spend all year telling guys to trust you, to believe you've got a plan. And by October, you're carrying all of that belief whether you still feel it or not. You don't get to pass it off. You don't get a day off from it. And when you walk into that clubhouse and they're still standing there, still looking at you for the next move, you realize something real fast. You don't get to be tired yet.
October is supposed to be about baseball. Stats, pitch counts, big moments. But sometimes the glue that holds a team together is found far from the diamond. For the Orcas, that glue showed up in hotel hallways, late-night card games, ice baths, and conversations about life. In every city they landed, the ritual became the same. Gather in someone's room, deal some cards, and talk until the sun threatened to rise.
We played so many games of Uno. Seriously, many games of Uno. Too many games of Uno. Like, it was to the point where people were starting to keep track of wins and losses. And it got heated, and Higgins, he's a sore winner. Let's put it that way.
Let me tell you, grown men get real petty about a draw 4. Morrison stormed out of the room once. Didn't say a word, just left. Didn't see him until the next morning.
Okay, that's bull. I didn't storm out. I just took a breather. Big difference. And Kirk's a face. He can't believe a word that guy says.
He said that, eh? Yeah, well, he's a card-stacking little freak, so what do you expect? You know, once he put a wild draw 4 on top of a draw 2 and said, yeah, this feels right. I almost punched him in his stupid face.
Then there were the ice baths. 10 minutes in freezing water became 10 minutes of honesty. Kirk Higgins, Tristan Wells, Cameron Mercer, Akito Yamamura, and Clayton Cooper caught in discussion.
I almost quit 2 years ago. Couldn't afford rent. I was sleeping in my car most nights. So every time I step on this field now, I think about the fact that I beat that. Whatever happens, I beat that.
I hate that they call me Canada's kid. All that hype, man. Half the time I'm just hoping I don't trip on my way to the plate. I don't want to let people down.
You know, for a long time, I thought the game had passed me by. I was 30, sitting on the bench more than I played. And I'd go home wondering what the hell I was still chasing. Truth is, I was scared. Scared that I'd given my life to this thing and that it would never give me anything back. But here, with you fellas, for the first time since I was a kid, I don't feel like I'm hanging on. I feel like I belong. Like the game let me back in. And I didn't realize how much I needed that until now.
When I got cut from the Japanese league a few years back, my daughter stopped wearing my jersey. She was 5, and that hurt more than losing the contract. Now, she wears the Orcas jersey every day. Whatever happened this October, she got her dad back. That's the real win.
Guys, I'd like to say something. You know what I think about in here? Penguins. Stay with me. Penguins huddle together to survive. That's what this is, guys. We are the huddle. Except, like, no tuxedos, but we wear uniforms. So I guess that's our tuxedo. It's kind of the same, right? Anyway, the Penguins, they don't huddle because they like each other. Half of them probably annoy the hell out of each other. One's breathing too loud, one keeps shifting, one smells like fish, but none of that matters because if you step away from the huddle, you freeze. Simple as that. So they stick it out. They take turns on the outside. They rotate. They endure it together. That's what I see when I look around this room. Not a bunch of individuals trying to be heroes, just people leaning in shoulder to shoulder, knowing that some nights you're warm in the middle of the night, and sometimes you're getting blasted by the wind. And when it's your turn on the outside, you trust that someone else will pull you back when you can't feel your fingers anymore. We don't always talk about it. We joke, we complain, we act like none of this gets to us, but it does. And that's okay, because the point isn't to be unbreakable. The point is to stay close enough that when one of us starts to drift, the rest of us feel
Sarah
it.
Watkins.
It's about
Baseball people will tell you October is all about talent. And sure, that matters. But what Vancouver had was rare. It was pure joy. You don't see that often in professional sports, let alone in the playoffs. These guys were playing with everything on the line, and they made that fun contagious.
The next round was upon them, and it wasn't just another opponent. The Orcas would face their fiercest test yet, their Northwest Pacific rivals, the Seattle Mariners. If Houston was a test of strength, Seattle was a clash of bloodlines, a true border war stretched across 7 relentless nights.
Night has fallen on T-Mobile Park here in Seattle, and Game 1 of the American League Championship Series is set to go.
Luis Castillo for the Mariners. Velocity, movement, command. You earn everything against him.
Castillo cut them up early. Then came the lightning. Julio Rodriguez.
Rodriguez digs in. 2 on, 1 out. The 1-0. Crushed to left. Higgins turns, watches, and gone. 3-run homer for Julio, and Seattle strikes first and loud.
If you thought this wasn't his series, you haven't been watching closely.
The Orcas scratched a late run, but the hole was deep. 9th inning, 2 on, Cooper at the plate.
Munoz brings it. Swing and a miss. 102 at the knees. And that's the ball game. Mariners take Game 1 for the 2.
Game 2 asked a question. Could a rookie silence 40,000? Tanner Sheffield answered.
Sheffield's first pitch. Dotted at the knees. Strike 1. Kid looks calm tonight.
He's trading triple digits for command. That is huge growth on the biggest stage there is.
2nd inning, back-to-back strikeouts, the slider pulling the string and the fastball finishing the job. Fast forward to the 7th inning, a scoreless knife fight, but the Orcas finally pried a seam.
2 on, 2 out for Wells. Kirby sets. The 2-1. Line drive into the alley in right center. That splits them. Brooks comes in to score. Akito's chugging around. Throw home. Safe. Wells in with a double, and the crowd is fired up.
The Orcas would go on to tie the series 1-1 and bring it back home. Game 3 was Vancouver's first ALCS home game, and Pacifica Field was electric. Tristan Wells lit the fuse, a 3-run homer that rattled the rafters, a walk-off bloop from Higgins that sent 42,000 into hysterics. But the Mariners hit back. Game 4, their bullpen strangled every rally, their defense sharp where Vancouver's was frayed. A 5-2 win, and the series was even again. Game 5 in Vancouver stretched for 6 scoreless innings, then broken by a throw from right field that cut down a run at the plate. And in extras, Julio Rodriguez drove the dagger with a single through the left side. Mariners on the doorstep of celebration, Orcas on the brink of extinction. And then came Game 6, do or die in Seattle. And Cameron Mercer, the old soul of the staff, found one more night in his arm. 7 innings of guile, sweat, and borrowed time. The Mariners pressed. Bases loaded in the 7th. Julio stalking the box, and Mercer wriggled free with a double play that nearly lifted the stadium off its foundations. The Orcas hung on 3-2. Sarah Watkins.
At that point, every analytics model said pull him. 7 innings, 95 pitches, men on base. But George didn't budge. And it paid off.
When the dust cleared, the scoreboard read series tied, 3 games each. 4 nights of chaos behind them, 1 night of destiny ahead. Game 7 in Seattle. Winner goes to the World Series, loser goes home. October 20th. Everything in the season poured into one night. Vancouver up 3-2 in the 9th. Justin George handed the ball to the rookie pitcher. 2 outs later, the tying run stood on second. Julio Rodriguez walked to the plate.
Julio Rodriguez at the plate. Bottom of the 9th, Game 7. Bases loaded, Orcas clinging to a 1-run lead. Tanner Sheffield, the rookie staring down the face of the Mariners franchise. Sheffield into the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. He got him. Sheffield freezes Rodriguez.
You couldn't write it better, Jack. A rookie strikes out Julio to send Vancouver. You heard me, Vancouver, to the Fall Classic.
North of the U.S. border, the city of Vancouver had turned inside out. Granville Street flooded with royal blue jerseys and teal flags. Families, students, strangers, all spilling into the autumn night.
Orcas, 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 baby. Let's go.
From 18 straight losses in April to champagne showers in October, the Vancouver Orcas had bent the laws of baseball probability. A newborn franchise that wasn't supposed to contend. A roster of rookies and cast-offs that wasn't supposed to survive summer. Yet here they stood, American League champions. But baseball doesn't end at the pennant. There is always one more mountain. The miracle had carried the Orcas this far. Now came the big question. Does the clock strike midnight? Or does the dream write one final chapter? The pennant was theirs. The crown of the American League rested on their heads. And ahead, the grandest stage of all, the World Series. That's in Episode 5, the conclusion of Miracle on the Pacific.